The rain-slick streets of Chicago gleamed under the sodium lamps as I shoved my duffel bag into the trunk of Alex's stolen Bentley, my heart pounding like the bass at a South Side club, knowing one wrong turn and we'd be roadkill for the paparazzi hounds. "Fuck it, Jamie," he whispered, his breath hot against my neck, eyes wild with that mix of fear and fire that first hooked me. "We're ghosts now, your gridiron dreams, my silver spoon cage, all of it burns tonight." And just like that, as the engine roared to life and tires spun us into the storm, I realized I traded my Lombardi dreams for a boy who could unravel empires with a single kiss. It started 6 months earlier, back when the world still made sense, or at least pretended to. I was Jamie Harlan, starting quarterback for the Chicago Storm Surge, a scrappy expansion team in the National Gridiron League that had clawed its way from the minor leagues to sniffing playoffs for the first time in franchise history. At 24, I was the golden boy. Broad shoulders from endless dawn patrols at the gym, a cannon arm that could thread needles through defensive lines, and a smile that sold out kids' clinics faster than tickets to a Bears game. But off the field, I was a ghost in my own life, closeted tighter than Fort Knox, dodging hookups like blitzes because one leaked photo and poof, there goes the endorsement deals, the Heisman buzz from my college days at Michigan State, the shot at that championship ring that haunted my dreams. The Storm were owned by Harlan Enterprises, no relation to me, thank God, a behemoth conglomerate run by Victor Langford, the kind of CEO who made Forbes covers look like high school yearbooks. Ruthless, silver-haired, with a jawline carved from granite and a reputation for crushing unions like empty beer cans. His son, Alex, was the heir apparent. 26, Ivy League polish over street-smart edges. The guy who could charm a boardroom or a barfly with the same disarming grin. I'd seen him at team events, tailgates, galas, always in bespoke suits that hugged his lean frame like they were painted on, nursing a scotch while schmoozing boosters. But it was his eyes that got me. Stormy blue, like Lake Michigan on a bad day, hiding depths I itched to drown in. We collided at the annual Storm Surge Gala, that glitzy affair at the Art Institute where donors dropped 6 figures on auction jerseys just to feel like kings. I was there in my monkey suit, awkward as a bull in a china shop, shaking hands with suits who saw me as a prop for their egos. Alex cornered me by the Monet exhibit, champagne flute in hand, his tie loosened just enough to scream trouble. "Harlan," he said, voice low like velvet over gravel. "You throw like you mean it. Ever think about what happens when the game's over?" I laughed it off. Standard flirt from a fanboy. But then he leaned in, close enough I could smell his cologne, cedar and sin, and murmured, "Or maybe you're just waiting for someone to call your real play." That night blurred into stolen glances across crowded rooms, texts that lit up my phone at 3 a.m. like contraband fireworks. "Meet me at the pier," he'd say, and I'd sneak out of the team hotel, heart slamming harder than any hit I'd taken in the pocket. Our first real kiss was under the shadow of the Bean, that mirrored sculpture reflecting our tangled silhouettes back at us 1,000 times over, the city lights fracturing like stars in his eyes. He tasted like rebellion, sweet, sharp, forbidden. "My dad's empire is built on secrets," he confessed one night, our fingers laced on the cold concrete as freighters horned in the distance. He'd bury us both if he knew, but I didn't care. For the first time I felt seen, not as the QB, the poster boy, but as Jamie, raw and real. The team was my family, though rough-edged, blue-collar brothers forged in the fire of two-a-days and comeback wins. There was Marcus, my linebacker, built like a brick shithouse with a laugh that could shake stadiums. Lena, the noble shit trainer who patched us up and called out our crap. And Coach Reyes, the grizzled vet from East LA who turned water into wine with this ragtag squad. We were 8-2, riding a wave toward the playoffs, the city buzzing with storm surge fever. Sponsors poured in, Harlan Enterprises front and center, Victor's logo plastered on our helmets like a crown of thorns. Alex was the bridge, insider access to the money men, whispering tips that kept our locker room stocked and our bus rolling. But love's a blindside hit you never see coming. It crept up in the quiet moments. Him sneaking into my apartment off Wrigleyville, cooking pasta Alfredo with ingredients swiped from his penthouse kitchen. Us laughing over episodes of Ted Lasso until dawn cracked the blinds. Or the way he'd traced the scar on my throwing shoulder. a souvenir from a college bowl game gone wrong, and say, This is your map. Shows where you've fought. I fell hard, the kind of fall that leaves bruises you wear like badges. He talked about breaking free, about us building something real. Maybe a life in Seattle, away from the Windy City's glare, where I could play semi-pro and he could chase that photography dream he hid from Daddy Dearest. The breaking point hit like a thunderclap during Week 11, our must-win against the Detroit Hammers. I was sacked blindside, helmet cracking pavement, vision tunneling black as Alex's face flashed in my mind. Not the team, not the ring, but him. Woke up in the ER with a grade 2 concussion. Lena hovering like a hawk, Coach pacing the hall like a caged lion. Alex texted, Can't stop thinking about you. Screw this, let's go. Now. I stared at the screen, the sterile beep of monitors mocking my pulse. The storm needed me. The city needed the win. But in that haze of painkillers and regret, I typed back, Yes. We bolted 2 days later, post-game adrenaline still buzzing. I left a vague note for the team, personal emergency, and vanished into the night with Alex, the Bentley eating miles toward the Iowa border. No plan, just a prepaid visa and dreams big as the prairie sky. We holed up in a roadside motel outside Des Moines, tangled in scratchy sheets, whispering futures like prayers. We'll make it, he said, his head on my chest, heartbeat syncing with mine. You and me against the world. For 48 hours, it felt true. Bliss in a bubble, the outside world a distant hum. Then the bubble burst. My phone, dead battery revived in the motel's ancient outlet, exploded with notifications. Headlines screamed, Storm QB vanishes with heir to Harlan throne. Scandal rocks franchise. Victor had unleashed the hounds, private investigators, spin doctors, the works. The team? Gutted. Our sponsor pulled funding midweek, citing reputational risk, leaving the Storm scrambling for payroll, let alone playoffs. Marcus's voice cracked in the voicemail. Jamie, what the hell, man? We're drowning here. Coach is talking benching your ass for the season. Guilt clawed my gut like a bad hit. These guys had my back through fumbles and heartbreaks, and I'd bailed for a fairy tale. Alex tried to play it cool, but I saw the cracks. The way his jaw tightened at mentions of his father, the late-night pacing. He'll come around, he'd insist, but his eyes said otherwise. We pushed west, hopping motels like fugitives, my beard growing scruffy, his polish fraying at the edges. I dreamed of the huddle, the snap count, the roar of Soldier Field, ghosts haunting my sleep. By Nebraska, the cash was thinning, and doubt crept in like fog off the Platte. What if we go back? I ventured one dawn, over gas station coffee bitter as regret. He shot me a look, wounded. You'd choose them over us? No, I wouldn't. But as the miles blurred, so did the lines between escape and exile. Victor's reach was long. Offers of reconciliation dangled like bait. Anonymous tips that had us glancing over shoulders. And then, the betrayal I never saw coming. A leaked email from Alex's old assistant, forwarded to every sports rag from ESPN to the Tribune. It painted him as the puppet master, me as the naive mark in a corporate power play. Langford Jr. using QB for leverage against father. The spin went. My blood ran cold. Was it true? Had our love been a con, a way to flip the board on Daddy? I confronted him in a dusty diner off I-80, the air thick with fry grease and unspoken accusations. Tell me it's bullshit, I demanded, voice low to avoid the truckers at the counter. His face crumpled, blue eyes swimming. Jamie, it's not God. It's not what you think. He planted it to drive the wedge. But the doubt lingered, a poison seeping slow. We drove in silence after, the radio droning classic rock anthems that felt like mockery. By Denver, the calls from the team turned desperate. 4-7 record, elimination looming, boosters jumping ship. Coach Reyes left a message that broke me. Son, whatever demons got you, come home. We need our captain. The climax hit in the Rockies, that jagged spine of America where secrets can't hide forever. We'd crashed at a cabin rented under a fake name, snow dusting the pines like forgotten confetti. Victor tracked us, How, we'll never know. But his chopper thumped overhead at dawn, rotors slicing the crisp air. He stormed in like Judgment Day, flanked by suits and security, face thunderous. "Alexander, this ends now," he barked, ignoring me like I was furniture. Alex stood his ground, finally, voice steady. "No, Dad. Starts now. Jamie's not leverage. He's my life." Words flew like shrapnel. Accusations of weakness, threats of disinheritance, pleas masked as commands. I watched, frozen, as father and son tore into each other, years of resentment spilling like bad bourbon. Then Victor turned to me, eyes appraising, not hateful. "You think you know my boy? He's always run. From me, from everything real. But you're the first thing that stuck." It was the closest he'd come to vulnerability, a crack in the armor. He laid it out. The team was hemorrhaging, playoffs a pipe dream without Harlan Cash. But he'd fund a comeback. If we returned, played the heroes, spun the narrative into prodigal sons. Betrayal's sting twisted deeper when Alex wavered, just a flicker. "What about us?" I whispered later, alone in the cabin's chill. He pulled me close, lips brushing my temple. "I choose you, always." But the seed was planted. We flew back commercial, incognito, landing in O'Hare under storm clouds that mirrored my soul. The team greeted us at Hallis Hall like wayward prodigals. Marcus clapping my back too hard, tears in his eyes. Lena muttering idiot but hugging fierce. Coach pulled me aside. "Field's yours, Harlan, but earn it." The final weeks were a gauntlet. Practices brutal as penance, media circus hounding every drill. Victor's money flowed again. But trust? Fractured like a dropped spiral. Alex and I rebuilt in stolen moments. Walks along the lakefront, hands brushing in the wind, promises whispered against the waves. Yet the whispers grew. Rumors Alex was cutting side deals, hedging bets for his escape fund. Paranoia gnawed. Was the email true? Had he played me to spite his old man? Game day dawned crisp. Soldier Field, a cauldron of 61,500 souls chanting, "Surge! Surge!" We were 7-8, do or die against the rival Packers for a wildcard miracle. I strapped on my pads, the leather creaking like old bones. Alex's good luck kiss lingering on my cheek. Public now, the world watching our redemption arc. The huddle was electric, brothers shoulder to shoulder. Rhea's gravel voice cutting through. "This ain't about rings or revenge. It's about us, who we are when it counts." The game was apocalypse football. Fumbles in the mud, picks that twisted knives, the crowd's roar turning to gasps. Down 21-17 in the fourth, 2 minutes left. I dropped back, blitzed, spun, launched a Hail Mary to Marcus streaking the seam. Intercepted. Packer return, clock bleeding. Timeout. In the huddle, eyes locked. Fear, fire, family. "One more," I said. Reyes nodded. Snap. Pump fake. Release. The ball arced eternal. A comet over the end zone. Settling in our receiver's gloves as time expired. Touchdown. 24-21. Pandemonium. But victory soured in the locker room champagne haze. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, screenshot attached. Alex's email chain, real this time, plotting to tank the sponsor deal for a bigger payout using our story as bait. Betrayal landed like a cheap shot. I found him outside, under the stadium lights, suit rumpled, face ashen. "Jamie, wait. It's not." But I cut him off, voice breaking. "You lied. We were real, weren't we? Or was I just your championship play?" He crumbled then, confessing the half-truth. Victor's pressure had twisted him, made him scheme as survival. But me? You were the only true thing from the start. I ended it weeks ago. Swore off the games. Proof tumbled from his phone. Resignation emails, therapy bookings, a one-way ticket to Portland for us both. Tears mixed with rain as we clung there, the city's pulse thumping around us. "Forgive me," he begged. "Or let me go." I chose neither, chose us, messy and mended. Because love isn't a clean spiral. It's the scramble after the sack. The off-season brought healing, humanistic in its quiet grind. Victor stepped back, grudging respect in his nod at our wedding, small, lakeside, team as witnesses, Marcus officiating with jokes that had us howling. The Storm surged to the conference finals next year, rings slipping on my finger under confetti storms. Alex in the stands, camera capturing our stolen glances. We built in Seattle eventually, him chasing lenses, me coaching youth leagues, teaching kids that championships aren't hardware. They're the bonds that outlast the hits. Looking back, that rainy Chicago night wasn't escape. It was ignition. We ran, yes, but toward something truer. A team that forgave, a love that endured betrayal's bite, a life where vulnerability scores the winning points. And in America's heartland sprawl, under endless skies, I learned the real MVP isn't the quarterback. It's the heart that keeps calling the play. We holed up in that Des Moines motel, the kind with neon signs flickering vacancy, like a siren's call. Walls thin enough to hear the couple next door arguing over burnt toast. Alex sprawled on the bed, his once crisp shirt untucked, scrolling news on his phone with a grimace. They're calling it the gridiron gay away, he snorted, tossing the device aside. Like we're Bonnie and Clyde with pom-poms. I forced a laugh, but it died quick. My feed was a war zone of memes. Me photoshopped into rainbow helmets, headlines speculating on closet case QB meltdowns. The Storm stock plummeted overnight. Victor yanking the purse strings so hard the team trainer's van got repossessed midweek. Guilt hit like the flu. Feverish, unrelenting. I'd ghosted Marcus' mid-text thread about fantasy trades. Ignored Lena's check-ins that turned to worried voicemails. Jamie, talk to me, kid. We're family. Family. The word stuck like turf in cleats. Back in training camp, we'd forged that bond over Gatorade and gut checks, no questions on who you loved, just who had your 6 on 4th down. Now, I'd left them high and dry, my absence a fumble that cost yards they couldn't afford. Alex sensed it, pulling me onto the sagging mattress, his fingers combing through my hair like he could massage the tension out. Hey! He murmured, voice soft as the motel's threadbare quilt. This is our shot. No more hiding. No more plays called by someone else's playbook. His touch grounded me, electric yet tender, chasing shadows with warmth. We talked till the sun bled orange through the blinds. About his childhood in the Gold Coast manse, tutors instead of touch football, Victor's tough love, that left bruises invisible to the tabloids. He built an empire on breaking things, Alex said, tracing patterns on my arm. People, dreams. I won't let him break us. But the world conspired. By dawn, the prepaid card maxed on bad takeout and tolls, forcing a pawn shop detour in Omaha for my championship watch from State. A heirloom I'd vowed never to hawk. The clerk, a grizzled vet with tattoos fading like old tattoos, eyed the engraving, Harlan, unbreakable. Rough patch, son? He grunted, sliding over $800 less than Blue Book. I nodded, throat tight, Alex waiting in the car with that apologetic half-smile. We'll buy it back tenfold, he promised as we merged onto the interstate. Radio crooning Springsteen, Thunder Road, ironic as hell. Nebraska flats stretched endless, corn whispering secrets to the wind, mirroring my spiraling thoughts. What if the storm folded? What if my arm rusted from disuse? Scouts writing me off as drama bait. Alex filled the silences with stories. His hidden darkroom in the family brownstone, developing shots of street kids playing pickup in Pilsen. Frames that captured joy Victor dismissed as hobbyist fluff. You see the beauty in the broken, I told him once, after he'd shown me prints of abandoned mills, light-piercing rust like hope. He kissed me then, slow and deep, saying, that's what you do for me. Yet doubt's a sneaky defender, fainting left when you guard right. The leaked email dropped like a dirty hit. Anonymous dropped to Deadspin, time-stamped from Alex's work server. Langford Jr. orchestrating QB romance to undermine Harlan's sponsorship. Internal memo. My stomach dropped harder than a goal line stand. We pulled over at a rest stop, semis idling like judgmental beasts, and I shoved the printout in his face. Is this you? Playing me for leverage? His denial was fervent, hands cupping my face. Jamie, I'd sooner cut my own throat. It's him, Victor's MO. Plant the poison, then play savior. But the words rang hollow against the evidence, trust fracturing like safety glass. We pressed on to Colorado, the Rockies rising like accusations, air thinning as my resolve. Motels blurred into diners, conversations into monologues. Me venting about missed huddles, him about boardroom battles where love was a liability. One night in a Pueblo adobe, thunder rumbling distant, he broke. I almost took the bait once, early on. Used a tip from you to sway a vote, make Dad think I was his mini-me. But it tasted like ash. You're my north, Jamie. Why I fight. Tears tracked his cheeks, and I held him through the storm, our bodies fitting like puzzle pieces worn smooth. Forgiveness came tentative, a truce sealed in whispers and what-ifs. By the time Victor's chopper shadowed our cabin, we'd patched enough to stand united. His descent was theatrical, boots crunching snow, face a mask of controlled fury. You've made your point, Alexander. Now end this farce. Alex stepped forward, me at his flank, the cold biting like judgment. What followed was a Langford legacy showdown. Victor's litany of failures, Alex's dropped MIT acceptance, his wasted art degree from Columbia, met with son's raw rebuttal. You built walls, Dad, not a home. Jamie showed me doors. I stayed silent, the outsider in their blood feud, but when Victor's gaze landed on me, it held not disdain but calculation. You love him, blunt as a goal line stand. More than the game, I shot back. He nodded once. Then bring him home. Save what's left. The flight east was purgatory. Cramped seats, Alex's hand in mine under a shared blanket, Victor across the aisle like a specter. O'Hare's bustle swallowed us, cabs ferrying to Hallis where the team waited, not with pitchforks, but open arms. Marcus Bear hugged me breathless. Don't you ever pull that vanishing act again, QB1. Lena punched my shoulder, grinning through glossed eyes. Concussion protocol says you're benched for stupidity. Coach Reyes clasped my elbow, voice gruff. Field's cold without you, son. Warm it up. Re-entry was grindstone sharp. Sprints that burned lungs. Film sessions dissecting my rust. Media spun us as reformed rogues. Victor's PR machine churning. Family reconciliation narratives. Alex and I navigated the glare. Joint interviews where I'd quip about better plays off-field. Him sketching quick portraits of teammates in the lounge. But the email's ghost lingered. Whispers in the weight room. Langford's boy got an agenda? Trust rebuilt brick by brick. Our nights a sanctuary. Couch forts in my apartment. Binging Friday night lights. His head on my lap as I ruffled his hair. We're winning this, he'd say, meaning more than football. As the bye week bled into crunch time, the storm clawed back. Wins against cellar dwellers. A Thursday night thriller over the Lions that had Chicago's sports bars erupting like Vesuvius. I was sharp again, arm-whipping lasers, feet dancing pockets like Fred Astaire in spikes. But off-field, the betrayal specter loomed larger, fed by fresh leaks. Board minutes hinting Alex had lobbied against the team's expansion budget, citing distractions like me. Victor dismissed it as sour grapes from rivals. But my gut twisted. Had our escape been the match, but his schemes the gasoline? Confrontations simmered low. One evening post-practice, steam rising from the training tub, Marcus cornered me. Spill, Harlan. That pretty boy's got you twisted, or what? His concern was brotherly, eyes searching mine over the bubbles. I confessed the doubts, voice echoing off tiles. Feels like I'm calling audibles blind. He nodded, splashing water-wise. Love's a two-way streak, man. Run it till the whistle, but don't ignore the flags. Solid advice from the guy who'd pancaked linebackers for my sakes. Alex and I hit a rhythm, though, dates disguised as scouting trips. Drives up to Door County, apples crisp in orchards, his camera clicking candid shots of me tossing spirals to phantom receivers. My muse, he'd tease, developing prints in a pop-up lab at his loft, the chemical tang mingling with our laughter. Intimacy deepened, not carnal but soul-bearing. Him admitting the closet's crush under Victor's empire. Me unpacking the fear that had kept me single through college co-eds and pro-temptations. You make me brave, I told him one twilight, Lake Michigan lapping our toes, his hand warm in mine. He smiled, that lopsided grin, and for a beat, the world aligned. But Victor's shadow lengthened. He summoned us to the Loop Tower, Harlan Enterprises' glass monolith piercing clouds like a middle finger to gravity. The office was power incarnate. Mahogany desk the size of a goal line, walls lined with mergers like trophies. Sit, he commanded, pouring scotch neat. Alex abstaining, me nursing mine like medicine. The team's on life support. Playoffs mean everything. Revenue, legacy. His eyes bored into Alex. Prove you're in, son. No more games. The subtext? Cut ties with the distraction, or watch the funding dry. Alex bristled. Jamie's not a line item. Victor's laugh was ice. Everything's a line item, even love. I left that meeting seething, cab ride back a blur of honks and high-rises. Alex trailed, apologetic. He's testing, always testing. But the seed sprouted thorns. Late nights where he'd vanish for calls. Phone angled away. Paranoia peaked during a rain delay scrimmage, huddling under the stands when my burner buzzed. Anonymous text, photo attached. Alex in a shadowed bar with a Harlan exec, heads close, papers exchanged. Your night's tipping the spread. The caption read. Heart in throat. I bolted to his loft post-practice, pounding the buzzer till he answered, towel damp from a shower, confusion creasing his brow. Explain this. I thrust the phone forward, image glaring. His face drained color. Jamie, that's God. That's from months ago. Prius. Damage control on a merger. But the exec's name rang bells. A Storm board member who'd pushed for my benching. You're still playing angles. I roared, voice cracking like thunder. He reached for me, desperate. No, I've burned those bridges. For you. We argued till hoarse, accusations flying like errant passes. My abandonment issues from a dad who bailed when mom got sick. His legacy chains forged in gold-plated isolation. I can't keep waiting for the other shoe. I gasped, backing toward the door. Trust me, he pleaded, tears carving tracks. Like you trusted me in that motel? I stormed out into the drizzle, pounding pavement to the lake, waves crashing fury matching mine. Hours later, a team bus rumbled by, Storm heading to film at a dive bar, Marcus spotting me from the window, yelling Harlan, get in, fool. I climbed aboard, reeking of regret, brothers passing a flask without judgment. Over wings and whiskeys they unloaded. Coach on resilience, Lena on red flags, the linemen trading stories of their own heartbreaks. Love ain't perfect, one rumbled. But neither's football. You fight for yards, not yards. Dawn found me at Alex's door again. Key he'd slipped me months back turning smooth. He was awake, curled on the couch with a sketch pad, drawing our peer kiss from memory. Lines tender, alive. I fixed it, he said softly, no preamble. Resigned from the board. Told Dad it's you or nothing. Papers scattered. Formal letter. Dated yesterday. Relief flooded. Chased by shame. I'm sorry, I whispered, sinking beside him. Scared I'll lose this, the team, you. He pulled me close, heartbeat steady. Then don't. We're a team too. Reconciliation fueled the stretch run. A road W in Green Bay, snow devils swirling confetti. My game ball gifted to Alex in the tunnel, engraved, our play. Victor watched from the suite, a nod across the field the closest to approval we'd get. But whispers persisted, final leak before the finale. Audio clip, Alex's voice haggling terms with a rival sponsor. Harlan Cash is toxic, let's talk numbers. My world tilted. Was it doctored? Payback? The night before the Packers rematch, I confronted him in the empty locker room, fluorescent hum mocking us. Listen to this. I played it, his face paling. Jamie, that spliced voice mod software, easy as pie. Dad's team, I swear. Doubt warred with devotion, but his eyes, those stormy blues, held no guile. Prove it, I challenged, half broken. He did. Called Victor on speaker, raw and raging. Enough! Release the forensics or I walk forever. Silence. Then Victor's concession. Stand down. It's over. Click. The line went dead, but so did the sabotage. With the air cleared, brittle as fresh ice, we hurtled toward game day. Practices amped to frenzy. Rhea's diagramming audibles till our brains fried. Lena taping ankles with pep talks laced in Spanglish fire. The city pulsed electric. Billboards flashing surge to glory. Bars slinging Harlan Hail Mary cocktails. Alex embedded deeper, shooting behind the scenes for a docu-series, his lens capturing sweat-slick huddles, my pre-snap rituals. Kissing the wristband with his initials inked small. For luck, I'd say and mean it. Yet undercurrents churned. Victor hosted a pre-game gala. Black tie schmooze at the peninsula. Chandeliers dripping like deferred dreams. He pulled me aside mid-mingling, scotch in hand, skyline glittering beyond. You're good for him, Harlan. Grounded. But remember, empires fall on whims. Warning or wisdom, his pat on the shoulder felt like chains. Alex overheard. Later in the limo, he's scared of losing control. I squeezed his knee. Then let's give him something to fear. Us unbreakable. The eve of the miracle matchup, insomnia gripped. I wandered Wrigleyville streets, neon signs buzzing ghosts, past the ballpark's ivy walls whispering baseball what-ifs. A payphone call to Mom in Detroit. Her voice, warm as biscuits, steadying. Baby, loves the long game. Fight smart. Back at the hotel, Alex waited with hot cocoa and a playlist. Springsteen, Journey, anthems for runaways. We slow danced in socks, his chin on my shoulder, murmuring, whatever tomorrow brings, you're my end zone. Sleep came fitful, dreams of spirals sailing into voids. Kickoff dawn metallic, wind whipping off the lake like a defensive rush. Soldier Field thrummed. Flags snapping, face paint fanatics a sea of blue and silver. Pre-game, Alex slipped me a note in the tunnel. Call the play, I'll be cheering. His kiss, quick and fierce, fueled the adrenaline. The Packers, playoff hardened, struck first. TD on a slant that exposed our secondary like a bad cover. 7-0. Huddle tense, Marcus growling. We got this. My first drive. Dinks and screens settling for a field goal. 7-3. The crowd's faith flickered but held. Halftime loomed grim. 10-6. Our O-line battered. My ribs throbbing from a stinger. Locker room reek. Benghazi and desperation. Rhea's paced, whiteboard slashing routes. Identity football, boys. Who we are. Alex peeked in, against protocol. Eyes locking mine. Believe. That spark ignited the second half. 80-yard march. Me scrambling for 12 on 3rd and long. Marcus pancaking the edge for my touchdown keeper. 13-10. The roar? Primal, a beast unleashed. But the Packers answered, methodic as clockwork. Field position choose, a pick-six off a tipped pass that had me seeing stars. 17-13. For minutes left. Timeout. Sweat-stung eyes, chest heaving. One drive. I barked, diagramming on my thigh pad. A bootleg to the flat, play-action bomb if they bit. Teammates nodded. Fists stacked. Surge. Snap. Fake handoff, linebackers crash. I roll right, laser to the tight end for 22. Clock ticks. Hike. Bullet over the middle, 18 yards, first down. Crowd a vacuum, sucking air. Final play. No huddle. Shotgun. Defense shows blitz. I scan, open seam, receiver streaking. Wind gusts. Ball wobbles mid-flight. Interception. Return. Game over. No whistle. Penalty. Roughing the passer. Unsportsmanlike on their D-line for helmet toss. Replay gift. Back to first. And 10, 30 seconds. Hail Mary time. Huddle collapses in prayer. For the brothers. For the city. Out of the gun. Legs churning pre-snap motion. Blitz comes, I evade, pump, launch. The arc defies gravity. Spiraling toward the corner. Marcus leaping salmon high amid defenders. Catch. Stride. End zone. Touchdown. 24-21. Eruption. Fireworks, screams, my teammates piling on in a dogpile of joy and tears. Field invasion imminent, but we held the line, confetti cannons blasting like victory salvos. Amid the chaos, betrayal's final twist. As I lifted the game ball, phone vibrated. Victor, voice clipped, proud. But your boy's been busy. Attached. Contract draft. Alex's signature forging a side deal to poach Storm talent for a rival league startup. Heart plummeted. In the pandemonium, I searched for him. Stands emptying, him frozen mid-clap, face ashen from afar. Barreling through security, I reached him in the family suite, slamming the door. You did it. The ultimate play. Use the win to gut my team. His denial shattered. Jamie, no, that's forged. Look at the date. Post-game, impossible. But the sig was his, fluid as his sketches. Panic clawed, had Victor framed him ultimate? Or was Alex the serpent after all? Test me, he begged, dialing his lawyer on speaker. Pull records now. Minutes stretched eternal, champagne corks popping distant. Verdict. Digital watermark fake, traced to Victor's IP. The Emperor's last gambit, to shatter us at the pinnacle. Relief crashed like the final gun, but fury followed. I grabbed Alex's collar, not violent, but fierce. He almost won. Alex nodded, broken laugh. But we did. We collapsed against the sweet wall, sobs mingling. The city's skyline a testament to survival. Below, the team partied oblivious, our secret storm contained. Post-victory haze lifted slow. The wild card berth a golden ticket punched through hellfire. Pressers blurred. Me dodging romance probes with team-first deflections. Victor's absence a glaring void. Alex and I debriefed in a dive-off Michigan Avenue. Deep dish pie cooling, his hand over mine. Dad's done, he said, resolute. I'm out for good. Resignation hit his inbox by morning. Clean break from Harlan, board seat vacated. Photography pivot funded by his trust. Victor's response? A curt email. Your choice. Don't regret it. No warmth but no war. The playoffs unfolded epic. Divisional round upset over the Eagles. My 4 TDs a symphony under dome lights. Alex traveled incognito, sketching from press row. His shots later gracing SI spreads. Raw, humanistic, capturing not glory but grit. Lena's taped hands, Marcus's post-hit prayers. Conference semis tested steel. Overtime nail-biter versus the Cowboys, down 28-24, 1:12 left. Drive of lifetimes, conversions on guts, a 4th and goal slant to the rookie WR sealing 31-28. NFC Championship bound. Chicago delirious. Parade sketched. Murals blooming on viaducts. The big dance loomed in Atlanta. Dome a coliseum of dreams. Eve of Victor appeared unannounced at my hotel suite. Suit immaculate, eyes weary. Truce? He extended a hand. Calloused from some forgotten youth. I shook, wary. For Alex. He nodded. He's stubborn. Like his mother. Revelation soft. Her passing young. A painter lost to cancer. Leaving Victor armored in ambition. I pushed to protect. Failed. Vulnerability cracked his facade. Humanistic bridge over chasms. Watch the game with us? I offered. Silence. Then, seats in the owner's box. Kickoff confetti swirled. Broadcast to millions. We traded blows. Early lead surrendered. Halftime tied 14-all. Third quarter blitz. Fumble forced. Scooped for 6. 21-14. My ribs screamed, vision spotting, but Lena's halftime needle. Fight like you love Harlan. Propelled. Fourth. 35-yard scorch to tie. 28-28. Multi-coin hours. Drive stalls at midfield. Footage. And 3. Fake punt. Direct snap to me. Scramble dive first down. Brothers roar. 2 plays later. Rollout pass. Thread the needle beauty to the end zone. 34-28. Clock 0. Ring. Confetti Armageddon. Teammates hoisting Lombardi. Tears carving grime-streaked cheeks. In the melee, Alex found me. Leaping the barrier. Our embrace broadcast nationwide. First public kiss. defiant and tender. Victor watched from above, a solitary clap amid the surge. Post-game, family mingle. Him approaching Alex, words low. You played your hand well, son. Embrace awkward but real first in years. Off-season bloomed renewal. Wedding at Montrose Point. June sun gilding the harbor. 50 guests. Team in jerseys under tents. Mom beaming ringside. Marcus's vows a roast disguised as sacrament. Jamie, you finally found a receiver who catches everything. Vows simple. In huddles and heartaches, I choose you. Rings exchanged. Lake Michigan witness. We relocated northwest. Me to youth coaching at a Seattle rec league. Molding wide-eyed QBs with lessons beyond XS and OS. Championships are earned in the soul. Alex's gallery opening drew crowds. Exhibits of our journey. Motel Polaroids, field sketches. A triptych of the Hail Mary arc frozen eternal. Victor visited once, tentative. Dinners in Pioneer Square, thawing over IPAs, stories of his wife's canvases mirroring Alex's. Reconciliation slow, but seeds took. Years layered. A adoption scare turned joy. A boy from the system, gap-toothed grin and endless curiosity, calling us Dad 1 and Dad Click for Alex's camera. Storm retired my number. Induction speech choking on gratitudes. To brothers who forgave, to love that saved. Victor passed quiet, empire to stewards, while stipulating a foundation for LGBTQ plus youth sports. His redemption arc, unspoken. Nights now, porch swings creaking to cricket choruses. Alex's head on my shoulder, our son snoring inside. Worth the run, he murmurs. I kiss his temple. Every yard, in America's vast quilt, from Chicago's grit to Pacific rains. We wove a tapestry humanistic, flawed, triumphant. Love, I learned, isn't the score. It's the comeback, the huddle, the heart that calls eternal plays. And ours? Still surging.